Seton Hall Prep Stephen Buck was one of the top goal scorers in the super competitive Gordon Cup Conference. Buck had 24 goals and 13 assists for the Pirates, highlighted by 3 hat tricks in his senior season. JSZ was there when he scored 3 times in a win over Bergen Catholic. Buck helped lead Seton Hall Prep to a 12-8-5 record. Title runs are built from the net out, and Delbarton's Kenny Burgess supplied one of the best foundations in the state of New Jersey. When the postseason arrived, the Green Wave netminder was unbeatable, leading his club to a 2-1 overtime victory against Don Bosco Prep in the Gordon Cup Finals before steering aside 33 shots to preserve a 4-2 win over the Ironmen and secure a non-public state championship for Delbarton. The senior finished his final scholastic campaign with a save percentage of .934, a 1.42 goals against average, and 7 shutouts. John Campomenosi was the premier two-way player in the state, fronting a stingy Don Bosco Prep defensive unit that allowed more than 2 goals just 4 times over the course of 30 games. The senior blue liner was also a productive member offensively, leading all Gordon Conference defensemen in scoring with 28 points. Campomenosi has committed to continue his career at Quinnipiac University in the 2019-2020 season, but will have major junior hockey options next year after being selected by the Madison Capitals in the USHL draft this past summer. One of the most hard-nosed and hard-hitting skaters in the Garden State, Dean DiFazio was an impact player in all 3 zones while serving his senior campaign as a CBA captain. The winger finished his 4-year varsity career as the Colts' leading scorer with 28 points on 9 goals and 19 assists, including 3 helpers in a round of 16 victory over Bergen Catholic in the state playoffs. DiFazio also had 3 helpers in a regular season win over Delbarton on January 17th, helping the Colts secure a 3rd seed in the state tournament and making a run to the semifinals. Woodbridge Township sniper TJ Evan registered a team-leading 75 points to finish as the 6th leading scorer in the state. In a Public A semifinals matchup with Marlboro, Evan carried his co-op to the promised land. The senior recorded a pair of third-period goals in the final 40 seconds of regulation. His efforts knotted the contest at 2 and sent the game into overtime. Evan closed out his impressive season with 39 goals and 36 assists. The cooperative program of Woodbridge, Colonia, and Island Kennedy skated their way into the history books in 2017-18, an accomplishment that could not have happened without the performance of Drew Galea. The senior was phenomenal in the Public A state tournament, helping facilitate Travis Benny's overtime tally in a stunning comeback win over Marlboro in the semifinals. Galea's final line of 72 points on 36 goals and 36 assists makes him the 8th leading scorer in New Jersey. John Gelatt emerged as one of the top players in New Jersey this past season when he finished with 74 points on 32 goals and 42 assists, all of which were single-season career highs and placed him 7th in the state in point production. Gelatt helped propel St. John Vianney into the ranks of the state powers, where the two-way standout bandaged up his bloodied face to register a hat trick in a 5-2 victory over CBA on January 3rd outdoors at the Navasink Country Club. Joining Gelatt on the JSZ All-Zone hockey team, teammate John Gutt was an offensive facilitator for the Lancers. The junior had 3 assists in a 5-2 win over CBA. Gutt's vision wasn't limited to one contest. The junior finished 3rd in the state with 51 helpers. Following an injury-plagued sophomore campaign, Gutt exploded for 72 points, including a hat trick and a 5-point outing in St. John Vianney's Shore Conference Hanshin Cup win. After an offensive explosion a season ago in which he led Middletown North in scoring, John Hallard placed a premium on defense, and the result was the Lions making big noise in the regular season with upset wins over St. John Vianney and Wall. That's not to say the junior failed to create offense, as Hallard still mustered 18 points and 8 goals from the blue line thanks to a rocket shot from the point. Hallard led Middletown North to an impressive 13-6-2 season. So much of Delbarton's success stems from its smothering defense, and Jalen Kaplan played a big role in one of the state's most stout defensive units. The Green Wave kept opponents to just 1.4 goals per game this past season and held an explosive Don Bosco program in check with a 2-1 win in the Gordon Cup final and a 4-2 victory in the state finals. Kaplan was at his best in the championship game at the Rock, showcasing his two-way skill when he recorded the game-tying power play goal with under a minute to go in the second, before assisting Hunter Macy's eventual game winner in the third. Scott Kimiecik was exceptional in his senior campaign. The senior registered a stunning .956 save percentage to go with a staggering 0.83 goals against average and 10 shutouts. Kimiecik was especially good during Randolph's run through the playoffs, including a 25-save performance in a 4-2 victory over Morristown Beard to help Randolph win the Menin Cup. Kimiecik elevated his game even further in the Public B State Tournament, where he recorded 3 straight shutouts before stopping 15 of 16 shots in a 1-0 state finals loss to Northern Highlands. St. Augustine Prep's Kyle Knight compiled Siegel season career highs with 16 goals and 13 assists, finishing as the club's leading point producer. Knight scored a hat-trick against St. Peter's Prep and had 2 more multi-goal games. Knight led St. Augustine to a 10-win season as the team finished ranked number 5 in NJ.com's final state rankings. After leading Ridge to a state championship as a sophomore, Alex Konovalov carried the Red Devils back to the finals this year, registering 15 points on 5 goals and 10 helpers in 5 state tournament games, including his club best 29th goal and 3 assists in a semifinal victory over Millburn. With a career-high 67 points, Konovalov finished as the 11th leading scorer in New Jersey. Tsubasa Konishi's offensive outburst added yet another piece of weaponry to Don Bosco Prep's already stacked arsenal. The senior's 23 goals, 23 assists, and 46 points not only placed him 3rd on the team in scoring, but made him the 3rd leading point producer in the Gordon Conference. Konishi's biggest moments seemed to be saved for rival St. Augustine, as the senior notched his 2nd career hat trick and delivered a career-high 6 points in a December 12th meeting before recording 2 more tallies, including the overtime game winner in the Gordon Cup semifinals. Jin Lee's offensive outburst in the state semifinals against Princeton helped land Northern Highlands into the state finals at the Rock. Lee delivered 3 goals and assisted on 2 more second-period tallies in a 6-1 victory over the Tigers. Lee's senior season featured 32 points on 15 goals and 17 helpers as Northern Highlands won its first state championship in school history. Hunter Macy may have been an integral part of Delbarton's defensive unit that registered 8 shutouts this past season, but it was his offensive skills that made him one of the best dual-threat blue liners in the state. With 26 points, Macy tied for 3rd in team scoring, and his 14 goals were only outdone by Nick Siffringer and James Falavine. Macy's dynamic efforts were on full display in the non-public state tournament, where he registered 8 points and 3 goals in 4 games. Mickey Burns isn't the only Garden State skater to commit to the University of Vermont. Hun School standout Kyle Mandleur has also announced his intentions to join the Catamounts, but not before he turned in an exceptional junior season. With 67 points, Mandleur was a top 12 scorer in the state of New Jersey, his 44 goals 2nd in the state. The 6'5", 230-pound power forward posted 14 multi-goal games, including 7 hat tricks, the last of which came in a win over the Hun School in the Mercer County tournament title game. When the stakes were at their highest, RBC's Ciaran McNelis was at his best. Red Bank Catholic's senior netminder delivered an incredible 50-save performance against State Power Wall, turning an acrobatic save after seemingly impossible save to secure a 2-2 tie for the Caseys. For McNelis, it was the first of 8 outings in which he would stop at least 35 shots in the final month of the season. McNelis concluded his final varsity campaign with a career-best .925 save percentage. Liam Noonan was CBA's 2nd leading scorer with 10 goals and 25 total points. His overtime goal in the state playoffs against Seton Hall Prep broke a scoreless tie and catapulted the Colts into the state semifinals. His coach, Ryan Bogan, said that Liam did whatever was asked of him day in and day out. He always said that if it will help us to win, he'll do it. Noonan finished his high school career with 31 goals and 70 points. Tom Pryymak played a huge role in helping Summit secure a Public C state title in 2018. Pryymak finished his sophomore campaign as Summit's leading scorer with 40 points. He was named the NJIIHL Conference Player of the Year. Besides his 19 goals, Pryymak was always getting his teammates involved, evidenced by his 21 assists. The Hilltoppers' future is bright as Pryymak returns for 2 more years on the ice in Summit. What a way to go out. Scott Schnell was a point-per-game player in the first 3 victories of Hunterdon Central's run through the Public A State Tournament, including a goal in a 3-2 semifinal win over Wayne Hills. But his best moment came in the state championship against Woodbridge, as Schnell lit the lamp early, scoring just 53 seconds into the opening round, and he was far from finished. The senior left no doubt in the final frame, scoring 2 more times to secure a hat-trick and a 5-1 win at the Rock for the Red Devils, the Public A state champions. Schnell finished the year as Hunterdon Central's leading point producer with 11 goals and 14 assists. If one standout defenseman is good, 2 is even better. That's the case for Don Bosco Prep, who had a spoil of riches on the blue line with John Campomenosi and Thomas Schweigart. As a junior, Schweigart helped the Ironmen hold opponents to just 1.37 goals per game, while registering 25 points on 6 tallies and 19 helpers. Schweigart started a non-public quarterfinals game against Pope John, where he knotted the contest at 1-1 in the 3rd period before delivering the primary assist on a Tristan Freeze tally that made the Ironmen a winner in overtime. Don Bosco Prep's Tyler Sedlak broke out in a big way this season, closing out his junior season tied for the team lead with 28 goals to go with a career-high 40 assists. His 68 points placed him second in the Gordon Conference scoring race behind teammate Mickey Burns, and he was a top 10 scorer in the state. Sedlak helped the Ironmen reach the state title game with a goal and 2 helpers in a semifinal win over Gloucester Catholic, and scored in the 2nd period at the Rock in the final game against Delbarton. On an historically good Wall Township line that included Ryan Burns and Larry Hooper combining for 258 points, Zach Tarantino was good for 94 of those points, finishing as New Jersey's top point producer. The senior's 43 goals were 3rd among all Garden State skaters, and his 51 assists placed him in a 2-way tie for 3rd. Tarantino was a magician with the puck and put his silky mitts on full display in a game against Rumson Fairhaven when he recorded a single-game career-high 7 points on 4 goals and 3 helpers. Tarantino helped the Crimson Knights to a state semifinal appearance. Aiden Traynor was Princeton's most dangerous goal scorer. The sophomore rounded out his 2nd varsity season with 56 points on 29 goals and 27 assists, leading the Tigers in all 3 offensive categories. Traynor was named the Colonial Valley Conference's Player of the Year and stepped up big in the postseason, scoring 13 points in 6 playoff contests. Traynor led the Little Tigers into the state semifinals for a 2nd straight year. It was Summit's first state championship victory since 2012, and Will Vitton set the tone. In the opening period of the Public C Finals, Vitton broke through, finding the back of the net with his 13th goal of the season, and that would propel Summit to an eventual 3-0 victory over Chatham. The senior finished as Summit's 2nd leading scorer with 35 points and 22 assists. As Chatham drove deeper into the Public C State Tournament, Thomas Winter elevated his game even further. Chatham was dominant in a semifinal matchup with Wall, and Winter scored a pair of 2nd period goals and assisted on 2 more in a 6-1 win that would leave no doubt about the outcome. It was the cherry on top of a stellar senior season in which Winter led Chatham in scoring with 14 goals and 31 total points. Randolph made a run to the Public B State Finals, and it was due much in part to the performance of Will Zimmer. In the Rams' first 3 tournament games, Zimmer had 9 points and 7 goals, including his first career hat trick in a win over Newton, and 2 more tallies in a semifinal win against Livingston. Zimmer finished his senior season as Randolph's leading goal scorer with 22 markers and 20 assists.